And we will always try to chase something in the outside world. We will chase the validation of other people. We will chase money. We will chase a woman. Why do you fucking need a condition to love yourself? We change the paradigm. We make a paradigm shift. And you can do the same. And this way you just unplug yourself from the matrix and just fuck that. Fuck the system. You can empower yourself. And it's enough now of, I'm not good enough, I'm this victim, I can't do it. No, you can do it. You can empower yourself. Then you can really follow your purpose, then you can really follow your heart. And whoever tells you differently can go fuck themselves, because this is the reality that you choose. If you're not feeling good enough, then this video is for you. And before I made this video, I really tried to connect with everyone that doesn't feel good enough and just feel their suffering, my own suffering. I contemplated about my own inadequacies. And it was moving, but also a bit sad that so many people don't feel good enough about themselves. And especially in today's society where it seems to me we all try to compare each other to each other, you know? Who is the best? Who is the strongest? Who is the most beautiful? And it seems like, especially on social media, that really quick you get that self-doubt if you see all the other people. And the most funny thing is that all the other people themselves are not feeling good enough, at least a large amount of them. And they try to convince each other that they feel good enough and that their life is so nice. And when you see this, you just have to feel compassionate about it. But this video is more about what we can actually do to feel good enough and to change this paradigm of society, to basically transcend this. And I myself, especially when I was younger, I mean, I'm still pretty young now, but when I was a teenager, I didn't feel good enough. I felt like I'm not like one of the cool kids. I don't really belong here. I'm not good enough to get girls, not good enough to be successful. And this insecurity was for a long time my driving force, you know, the thing that motivated me. And I think for a lot of people this is because we try to achieve those things, to become that person that is finally good enough, that finally gets that love, that finally is worthy of being accepted and being loved by others. But especially by ourselves, because this is really about ourselves. And in this video, I want to take you really deep into yourself and also, let's say, the psychology on how this works and where the actual feeling of not feeling good enough comes from. And if we can understand that, if we can understand where does it come from and why it's basically almost funny, almost comical to feel not good enough, then we can transcend it. Yeah, so we first have to understand something really important, and this was a big breakthrough for me, and this is about beliefs, right? And the thing that we have to understand about belief is beliefs, especially about beliefs about ourselves, that they are just beliefs. They are not facts. It's not written in stone what you have to believe. You can choose what you believe. You don't have to believe what has been taught in your upbringing, what other people think about you and want you to think about yourself. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe that shit. You can literally choose your reality and you can choose your beliefs. It's like, it doesn't matter if the belief is wrong or right, because no belief is ultimately 100% right. And to give you an analogy, in India, they have like baby elephants, and those baby elephants, when they are little, they tie them to a wood, like a tree thing, you know. Not a tree that is planted, but just the trunk of the wood, of the tree. And they are baby elephants, and when they're tied there, they can't move. So they have this belief that when they're tied to this tree, they can't move. But when they're big elephants, they could actually just tear the tree fucking apart and just go, right? But they believe that they can't, because they have thought and learned all their life long that they can't do that. So this is the same with us. This is the same with us, because we have learned maybe all our lives that we are not good enough. We have maybe learned in childhood that we are not worthy of being loved, that something is wrong with us, that this or that part about us is not deserving of love. And we can just change that. We don't have to be the elephant that still believes in this. We can literally just choose the belief that we want. And I will make a specific video also on how to change your beliefs, but it's important to know that it all starts here. You can just choose to be good enough. You don't have to achieve anything. And whoever tells you differently can go fuck themselves, because this is the reality that you choose. You can empower yourself. And it's enough now of, I'm not good enough, I'm this victim, I can't do it. No, you can do it. You can empower yourself. And this is the beautiful thing about life, that we have the power to change. I know so many people, like in self-development, I met a lot of people, and they were like at the bottom of society almost, but they changed, you know. And for me it's the same. It's possible, and you can do the same. And you don't have to change who you are, you just have to change who you believe you are. So we can change our beliefs. Now, let me get something to eradicate. Here we go. So, we can change our beliefs. That's good news, right? Good news. Now to the next point. The next point, what I wanted to talk about, is our view of not being good enough. Because we think always that here is our ideal version, where we would be good enough. When we would achieve this, when we would achieve that, then we feel good enough. And we basically are down here, you know? This is how we view it, that we have to do something in order to get there. And this is the most important point that we also have to understand when it's about being good enough. Good enough for what? For what do you have to be good enough? You know? Good enough. This good enough. Fucking good enough. It's pretty simple. If you don't think you are not good enough, you can translate it in you don't deserve to be loved. You think you don't deserve to be loved if you feel you are not good enough. And whose love you don't deserve? The love of other people? We always chase the love of other people. And when we finally get it, it doesn't really fulfill us so much. The hole inside us is always there. There is just one person that can fill this hole inside you. And that's yourself. You have to give yourself the love that you crave from other people, that you think you need from other people. And you are the only person that can do that. There is no other people nothing outside of yourself can do that. You have to allow yourself to be loved. Those parts of yourself that you think you hate and that you think are not worthy of love, you have to love them. No one can do this for you. But here is also where the magic happens, and here is also where real transformation takes place. And the result of this is a self-confidence that is unshakable. It's not a confidence that is dependent on other people. If other people love you or hate you, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter how you look, you know? Because it's a self-love, it's a self-confidence, it's a feeling of being good enough that comes from deep inside yourself and knowing yourself and being able to love yourself fully. And this is not just a mindset thing, you know? It is at the same time, but it is not at the same time. This is work that you have to do. You have to face those uncomfortable feelings of not feeling good enough. When do you feel them? Where are they coming from? Now we basically, and you can do that, I believe in you. But basically we change the paradigm. We make a paradigm shift. I always love this word, paradigm shift, because it means we got a new, perspective. And that's all we're doing. We are saying we are good enough. This is our new state, This is our birthright, so to speak. To be loved, to be fully loved for who we are. This is our birthright. And now, it's not anymore. Now, of course, now that you did the paradigm shift, it's not that easy, unfortunately. But it helps. It's the first step. Now, we did the paradigm. You are good enough. We just said, look, not being good enough is just a fucking belief. And you are thinking in your mind right now, but I am this, I am that, I don't have this, I don't have that. Right? And instead of thinking, what do I need to be good enough? Think, what is pulling me down? What is suggesting that I am not good enough? Right? What is pulling me down? I am good enough, but something in me is pulling me down. Something in me doesn't want to believe that I am good enough. I know I deserve love, but I'm not there yet. But I know this is the ground zero. Because if we don't do this paradigm shift, we will always try to chase something. And we will always try to chase something in the outside world. We will chase the validation of other people. We will chase money. We will chase a woman. That's a big one for me. That was a big one for me. But look, let's say you see someone that is really successful on the outside world. Let's take the controversial example here, for example, Andrew Tate. You see, oh, wow, Andrew Tate is so jacked. He has so much money. He's so famous. He has so much girls. And you feel not good enough about yourself, right? But now let's imagine Andrew Tate. You are in Andrew Tate, his shoes. And I can tell you this much. If Andrew Tate didn't feel good enough about himself before he got rich and famous, he doesn't feel good enough about himself now. I don't know, maybe he already felt good enough and then he went for what he wanted, which is a good thing, you know. But if you don't feel good enough to begin with, nothing that you will ever achieve will make you feel good enough. You will just allow yourself, as soon as you achieve something, you know, then you allow yourself to love yourself. Now, okay, I made money, wow. Now I can love myself. Now I can be happy. Why do you fucking need a condition to love yourself? Because you use, and this is why I said in the beginning, not being good enough. Some people use this as a motivation. That's their fuel, you know. They basically put a carrot here, such a nice carrot, and this is their self-love. Now I can finally love myself. And they are here and they chase their self-love. And as soon as they get it, they can love themselves. But this doesn't last for long. Now the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And you just are in this fucking paradigm and you keep comparing yourself to other people, you know. But the thing is, you know, if you have 100 million, there's someone always richer, unless you're Elon Musk, of course. But also Elon Musk, if he is in that comparison paradigm, he compares himself with other things. You know what I mean? So this comparison and not feeling good about yourself, if you are stuck in this paradigm, it's terrible. You just suffer so much, even if you're successful on the outside. And then you post on Instagram and want to prove to everyone how successful and how happy you are. But if you see those people, it's really a clear sign that they are still in that paradigm, and you just have to be compassionate to them. So, let me erase this beautiful drawing. And my name actually was a Renaissance artist, Raffaello. Was a really famous painter in Italy. But as you can see, I didn't got the, you know, I don't make the name proud, how you say in English. So, my friends, let's get to the next point. And we were saying in comparison, and now we want to change this, you know, because before we were always like this video. Let's take this video. Let's say, you know, I wanted to do this video so I get likes and I feel good enough about myself. And then I'm sitting here and I'm trying to make the best video. And first of all, the video I think wouldn't be so great. But now, and of course, you know, I'm not always feeling good enough about myself, but I have to say pretty much always I feel good enough about myself now. That then, now I feel good enough about myself and I can do a video, you know, that I don't care about how many likes it gets or how many people view it or what comments I get. I do it out of inspiration and love because I'm already happy, you know, and then you start to create and then you start to take action from inspiration. And this is a new paradigm. Then you can really follow your purpose, then you can really follow your heart, you know, because I had the opportunity to do also other things, but I was really successful at headhunting, and it would be easy to make a a company on headhunting for me, thank God. And I would be more successful probably, like in terms of what people really value. Maybe I would have more money, I would have more status, I would have more things that people are envious of, you know? But then I would be, because I would be stuck in this paradigm that I always want to chase the love, I always want to feel good enough. And my whole life I would stress myself to fucking find qualified people for firms that I don't really give a fuck about and that just stresses me. And the people there, not all of them, but some of them are just, you know, pissed themselves that they have to do a work that they don't like. And yeah, and I'm just sitting there. Of course, it would also be fun sometimes, but this is what really makes me passionate. And then you can start to help people, to give them value, to give them love. And that's the next point that is coming to me, is if you start to really give love and give care about other people, this will make you also feel much better. This will give you more meaning. If you are more compassionate to people, if you just give love to them and care about their problems, then your problems become smaller and your feeling of not being good enough is gonna go. And now we are gonna go to the most crucial part of the video. This is the most important thing to then understand on what practical action steps you can take to feel good enough. So, yeah, now, how do we understand this, right? You grow up, and this is you. You got a nice hat and shoes. Shout out to Gabriel Gray here for the nice drawing. And and as you grow up and you're little, your beliefs get formed, right? Your view about yourself. And some parts of yourself, because your parents most likely couldn't love you fully unconditionally. You know, or you had sometimes the feeling that you weren't loved, but they loved you. But what is important to understand here is that a part of you, and this is the part that doesn't feel good enough, that's basically the hurt part in yourself. The part, and we said before, not feeling good enough means not loving yourself. This is the part that you think you don't deserve to be loved. And this part is, if this is your conscious mind, this part is basically in your unconscious. The wound is deep inside you, inside your subconscious mind, and you know, here's the hurt part. Now, what do we learn then, you know, as we grow up and as we grow up in this society? We learn to adapt ourselves to the environment that we are in. We learn to be someone that we are not really in the core of our being. We basically learn to change in certain situations so we get the love and the validation of other people. This is basically when the self-critic part comes in. And you can imagine this is another part of yourself. And this part, we have to make this part a bit sad, unfortunately, because he's hurt. But we're gonna save him soon. Don't worry, girls. We're almost there. So this part is judging this part, right? Because, why? Because we think that if this part changes, if this part finally does what is required, if this part finally meets the conditions that have been laid upon him, then finally, if that happens, then finally we will get the love that we so desperately need. you know? And this is why we have this self-critic, that's why we are so harsh to us sometimes. We're like, you're fucking, what are you doing again? Why are you so ashamed? I'm just ashamed of you when I go. Like, this is how we talk to ourselves. I can't believe you said that. Or, what did she text me? What did he text me? Why he didn't text me back? And all this kind of stuff. And we are always stuck in this loop. Now, how do we solve this situation? And we can just solve this situation by getting in contact with this part. And this might really be parts of yourself that you think are not worthy of being loved. Maybe it's the part of yourself that is sad. Maybe it's the part of yourself that is really a sexual part of you that has been shamed. Or maybe it's just a part that is really hurt. And we have to contact that part. You really have to go deep and feel the pain, your own pain. And if you can feel your own pain, and this is not like mainstream advice that you hear everywhere, this is the hard things, but they work, you know. And if you can feel the pain deep inside you, and I encourage you, if you have the opportunity to do this yourself now, and you feel this feeling of not being good enough, maybe it's a shame, maybe it's a pain, and can you just allow yourself to feel not good enough in this moment? Can you stop pretending? Can you just be you and be real now in this moment? And breathe into it. And can you feel that this part of you that is so sad also wants to be loved? And that this part of you deserves to be loved. And that it's a beautiful part. It's so innocent. And maybe you can see yourself as a little child, being sad, being hurt. And just stay with this part. And make him feel loved. Make him feel accepted. That you're here for him, for her. Beautiful. This was just a short example to show you how you do it, but you really have to do this almost every day, and for as long as you can, of course, and really make that part feel loved. And I guarantee you, when this part feels loved, now he's happy. When this part feels loved, so beautiful. When this part feels loved, you will feel good enough. And there's no one that can tell you anything, you know. If you know yourself, I can love myself. I don't care what you think. I couldn't care less. I really hope that you enjoyed the video until here. And unfortunately, the last video that I recorded got cut off. But the good news is that yesterday I also thought about, like, you know, all the things, and some more inspiration, some more important things came up. They can really help you here. Because the last video was just 3 minutes more. But I want to also share this with you. And the first important thing is the motivation. Your motivation. Now, let's say, for example, you're overweight and that's the reason you don't feel good enough, or you're not so good with women, or you have not the business success that you want. And what we think is that when we shame ourselves, when we think that we are not good enough, that this is how we change, you know. We basically use the shame, as I said, as a motivation. You know, I'm too fat, I should be shamed about myself, and we use those bad feelings as motivation. But oftentimes, first of all, this leads that you don't feel good enough and you feel bad, and why would you want to feel bad in your life if you don't have to? But what I want to really tell you is that you can have really both. Because if you start to love yourself, if you go into true self-love and you love yourself fully, wouldn't it be then normal to just do the best for you, what's really good for you? You would just stop eat when it's the right time. You would start to do a diet or eat what's good for you, because you do it out of self-love. If you have, for example, a child or your kid and you love it with all your heart, you would want also the best for him. So you don't need the shame and the guilt to make you do the right things. In fact, if you use shame and guilt to do this, this can lead to the opposite effect, right? So many people, for example, are overweight, then I don't know, they eat a bit too much today, then they shame themselves, they feel guilty about themselves, they feel so bad, and they keep eating, right? To numb those feelings of shame and guilt. But really think about this, like if you are really in self-love and start to love yourself, you don't need guilt and shame to drive you. And the next thing is, we want to change that our self-worth is dependent on the results that we're having. This doesn't mean that we don't go for what we want. This doesn't mean that we don't take action. That are good things, and that doesn't mean we don't work results orientated. You know, we try to get the things that we want. But it also means that it's not dependent on our self-worth if we are successful or not. And what do you think by doing this and changing this? But as I said, I explained to you before, like the inner work that needs to be done to get to this place. We have to really give us the love that we think we get when we achieve the results. We have to give us the love first, and if we give us the love first, we are not dependent on the results. And funny enough, this makes achieving your results much easier, because you go about it lighthearted. Let's say, for example, you talk to a girl and you love yourself fully. Wouldn't it be much easier then, instead of you trying to get something from her, trying to get her love, right? Women can feel that. And the same goes for business. If you want to close a client and he has the feeling that you need him to close, and you know you are really desperate to get him on board, he doesn't feel so good. It will be much harder. But if you feel like, look, if we are a good match, we can work together, and if not, it's different. So this is really important to understand as well. And the last point that I want to make is our value system. You know, because society gives us this value system. It gives us this value system and says, if you are rich, if you are pretty, if you are this and this and this and this, then you have value. Then you are valuable, you know. This is the value system that society has. And everyone tries to change those things because they want to be valued. But you can choose your own value system. If these are the things that are valuable for you, it's fine, you know, it's not a shame, but you can go for them. Just remove your self-worth from the results. But for other people, you can just choose your value system. For example, my value system is, if I see a person that is kind, if I see a person that lives with integrity, if I see a person that helps others, that is loving to others, that inspires others, that works on himself, you know, is disciplined, then those things are something, then this is a person that I put value on, that I am like, this person gives something to the world, this person lives from the heart, it's a role model for me, and this is my value system. Now, if I see a rich person, I don't care if they're rich, honestly. I couldn't care less, you know. If they're rich and they're a nice person and they give things, and then I respect them, but I don't respect anyone just because they have this value system. So you can just choose what value system you want to be part in, and you will attract the people that have the same value system as you. And then in this value system, you can live with integrity, you can live what is your values, you know, and go for them. So this is important to understand, that you don't have to buy this value system. Just because someone is pretty, they are valuable. You know, I don't care about that. I care about, how is this person's character? Are they kind? Are they loving? Is this a good person? This is what I care about. And you can do the same. And this way you just unplug yourself from the matrix and just fuck that. Fuck the system, right? We don't need to live in a system we don't like. No one says you need to take on the values of society. It's not right or wrong. My values are not right or wrong, but it's just the values that I like to have. And I just have them because I want to. And simple as that. And you can do the same. You can do the same. And if someone, and society will always try to change you, to give you this value system. You see this in marketing. You see this on Instagram. Everyone wants to put that on you. And you really have to be conscious about this and say, no, I don't live like that. This is my life and I can choose. And the same thing, if someone wants to say something bad about you, if someone insults you, if someone tells you, you know, you haven't done this and this and this, you're a failure. You haven't achieved this and this and this, you're a failure. Just think of it like this way. And I heard this also from another coach. Let's say I tell you, you know, yeah, look at you. Your blue hair, it's so fucking ugly. I hate your blue hair. Like, what the fuck? Now, you would be like, hey, I don't have blue hair. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Unless you really have blue hair, then I apologize to you. But I hope you get what I mean. You would be just like, you know, I don't really care. I don't have blue hair. The same goes with this. If someone tells you, you know, you're not good enough because this and that, you're not good enough, or gives you this feeling, you can be just like, yeah, cool, you know, but I know who I am, you know, I know my values, I know I am good enough, I know you can't tell me nothing, so yeah, that's great, you know, but I don't take it seriously. And this is the point where you want to get to. So, I really feel like this was a good video, and I hope it helps someone, And if it just helps one person and some person starts to feel better about themselves, starts to be happier, starts to share their love and their passions with the world, then this video has fulfilled its purpose. And I'm so grateful that I can do those videos and share this with you guys. Also, I have a free Facebook group, and I want to build a place online where we can share our values, where we can share also our problems and what we struggle with, and just make a kind of a small community online that supports each other, because I feel like this is needed. I will link this, and I would love to get to know you, and maybe we can support each other, maybe I can help you, maybe I can learn from you, whoever you are. And yeah, the link of the Facebook group is down below. And I would also really appreciate if you subscribe my channel if you're interested in this content, because I'm gonna give a lot more and go more depth how to exactly work on this, how to change beliefs, and a lot more interesting stuff around spirituality, healing, and self-development. Yeah, I think that's it, and we see us in the next video.